try them too. I'll kind of just demo how I do it and how I use this tool. Are you guys all familiar with this tool?
No.
No? Okay, good. This is the quick cut greens harvester. It works with a drill mounted to an axle, and then that axle turns a wheel that's connected to a belt, and then it moves the blade, a serrated blade. This tool has been in a couple, 3 different incarnations. I think this is the 3rd. Actually, this is number 2. They've improved it each time. Right now, the newest one is the best. But you know, basically, it saves you. It's a 10x. It's like what would normally take to harvest greens like this by hand. You know, you really have to cut high. You know, you don't want to, when you're cutting greens like this, you don't want that in your salad, right? You want that in your salad. And so doing this by hand, this would take somebody, God, like probably 2 hours. If they were good, it would take them 2 hours to do that by hand. This, you'll see, it can be a matter of, you know, maybe it'd be 10 minutes to harvest that. There's a bunch of different ways to use the tool. There's some footing, I'll kind of show you. But one thing that's great about the tool is that it quickly allows you to make judgment calls on how high or low you want to cut the crop just by adjusting it up and down. So that's awesome. It's also, like, this tool isn't really effective unless this blade is like fucking sharp. It's got to be really sharp. That means it's dangerous. So, you know, when you walk with it, you're not walking with it like this. You're walking with it like this, always. Like the blade is out, and you know, you're cognizant of people around you. You have to be really careful. But this tool just changed our farm entirely, because it just made salad mix at least 5 times more profitable than it was, just based on the time it took to harvest. Yep.
How often do you sharpen the blade?
What I do, I think Jam does the same thing. I just change the blade every 3 weeks.
Change it.
I change it, and then they just keep buying new blades because the blades are relatively cheap. What I do is I change the blade every 3 weeks, the main growing season, and then the fall I'll sharpen them. The fall or winter, whenever there's stuff we're looking for things to do, then I'll just sharpen it then. If you're curious about how to sharpen it, I can show you guys back at the tool shop. They do have the sharpener there. I can show you how to do it. It's not that complicated, but the proper tool really makes it a lot easier. It's called the Work Sharp. It's a belt. It looks like a little mini belt sander. Yeah, they're in there. Yeah. This mustard. What I might do, like if there was a really weedy bed, I might take the time, depending on the circumstances, the time of day, how quickly we need these greens. Sometimes it's worthwhile to pull some weeds out of the bed, because then it really saves you a lot of time in the post-harvest. But if it's like, you know, we got little bits of buckwheat coming in here, it's not a big deal. Like most of these beds are pretty weed-free, so I would say it's fine. I wouldn't worry about it. You know, something like that, I just pull that crap out of there. And you can straddle the bed, so that gives you a lot of ergonomic flexibility when you're harvesting, which is important. Because this task, until this tool came along, was grueling for most farmers. Like going to harvest greens was the worst task ever. Now it's like people are kind of stoked to do it because it's fast. Yes, you still have to bend over. It's not a perfect tool, but it's a lot of less time bending over. So I'm hoping this blade is sharp. Let's just start cutting it here. So this is a relatively tall crop, so I would go in and I would cut high. So you don't want to go low, so I'm going to come in and cut high. This blade is not very sharp. Let's try the other one. Let's just see. It's worse? It's fucking worse. Yeah. Fuck. We have to sharpen the blade. We have to sharpen the blade. You know what we should do? I can go sharpen it. You guys can do. Why don't you start another crop?
Let's go sharpen it.
So what I normally do is I just change a new blade, and then I do that all season. But then at the end of the year or whenever we have time, I'll have a stack of blades and I'll just sharpen them then. So what I'll do is mount them to the table. So I'll just take a couple like hand vices and then vice the knife to the table so it's like really firm in one place. And then I'll go in and sharpen each one. flip it, and then sharpen the other side. So I'll show you the principle of it, and then we'll probably have to just sharpen this blade because we want to use this tool. So I'll just sharpen the one side because it might be a little awkward to sharpen the other side of this on the tool itself. So just get the blade going. And what I'm doing is I'm taking this in the groove of the blade, and I'm just moving it around, and I'm just going a couple passes over. So I'm going to start on my left and work my way to the right. And you can see when you're sharpening is that now there'll be a little bit of a white part where the new sharpened edge is. And this is why I like to take it off, because you can see it's kind of awkward to get into there.
Is it complicated to take it off?
What's that?
Is it complicated to take it
I need some tools, and I'm sure they're around, but I just don't feel like fumbling around looking for tools while you guys wait. Sharper. It's not great, but it's better. The way I use this tool for the most part is I do like I walk backwards like this. That's just my own personal preference. If the blade is perfect and it's a first cut of greens and you're cutting like at a fairly low place, I find I just like to go like this and just walk back. And so what I'll do is I'll fill half the basket that way, so I'll come back. Again, this isn't cutting perfectly. See, I'm kind of moving it with my hand. That's to kind of help deal with the fact that the blade isn't perfect. So I got about half a basket full, my tote's down there, and I turn back around and come this way. And I'm wanting to cut high because this is like the second or third cut, excuse me, on this bed. So when I'm harvesting, I don't mind putting the tote on the bed. Like, that's fine. Do that exact same thing. This is more like just nitpicky stuff. If you didn't think you were going to have enough, so you come along in here, get the stuff on the sides, then I might come and get this stuff. Dump that and then do the same. Sometimes now, because this is narrower here, if I get my blade on a slight angle, like this, I can get it better.